Joyful had a vision. He wanted to set out to create the most realistic civilization experiment we have ever seen. And today, you are going to get to play that experiment. You are going to get to play what we believe is the most realistic way to simulate civilization in Minecraft. And that is not possible without the amazing team behind the project. So I want to take a moment to thank every single one of them. That includes the developers, Theory, Matt, Ierdna, Kay, Ford, Lunasa, Prismo, and Gabe. The team leads, Joyful and Jarrett. Builders, Wallace and Tree. Map makers, Dub and Ford. Applications team, Wallace, Ford, Brown, Slockman, Vasey, Rex, and Quinn. Server side, Indy, Hexif, Harrison, and all the other developers I've already named. The content team behind Llama, and the community team in Hubley, Vasey, Fleshman, and Blade Doom. This project would not have been possible without every single one of them. So please, before you play today, make sure you thank them in Discord or game chat. On behalf of the entire Rift Events team, I want to thank all of the developers and all of the team that made this possible. The rest of this video is just going to be a basic tutorial about the mechanics of Joyful's Rise of Civilizations. But before we get started, I want to address something more about the community. Let's make sure today, when we're going into Joyful's Rise of Civilizations, that we're treating everyone with respect. Let's treat this community the way we want to be treated. I am beyond excited to officially welcome every single one of you to Joyful's Rise of Civilizations. Welcome to the tutorial section of the video. If you made it this far, you probably didn't click off because you haven't read the wiki. And I've got good news and I've got bad news. I'm about to read the wiki to you. That means you don't have to read the wiki, but it also means it's gonna be pretty boring. So, with that, let's get started at the beginning. What is the whole idea? The whole idea is that this is a different thing. This is an experiment that is not like Minecraft is vanilla. That's the whole point. The progression has changed. The mechanics are changed to encourage a civilization-style experiment. Players who enjoy solving problems and overcoming challenges will like this event. Unlike other Minecraft civilization events, actions such as RDM and griefing aren't against the rules, although admins do not enforce rules against these actions. Players are encouraged to enforce those rules themselves. What that means is that you have to make your own laws. Let's get to the big mechanical changes. Death is not permanent. Your ability to revive players is incredible. You have to craft a cornucopia. It takes one of every type of food, and that cost increases exponentially every time that person is revived. Meaning, once you get to their 8th revive, it takes an entire inventory, and you can't do a 9th revive. The downed system, we call it downed but not out. When a player is killed, instead of instantly dying, they'll be put at 0 health. This means they'll be downed. When a player is downed, you have a minute for PvP and 2 minutes for any other death to revive them and to bring them back to life in the game. They will be brought back and able to move, and they'll be at half a heart. Health no longer regenerates like normal. It will regenerate very slowly over time, and potions are disabled, but you need to drink water bottles, which will each heal 1 heart. We also have a stamina system. Stamina does not get used by sprinting, jumping, crafting, or smithing, but stamina does get used by breaking blocks, placing blocks, fishing, hitting players, and farming. Stamina takes 2 minutes to regenerate fully, and this is by design. When you run out of stamina, the stamina cost for those actions will eat through your saturation and hunger bar. When your hunger is empty, you can no longer perform any actions that require stamina. Progression. Wood and stone is exactly like vanilla. Bronze is an alloy, which is made by combining copper and quartz in a copper anvil. Iron is not required to progress from bronze to steel. However, iron is very useful for its much higher durability compared to bronze. Steel is an alloy of coal blocks and iron clumps. Diamonds are combined with steel gear in a smithing table to make diamond armor, weapons, and tools. Ores do not spawn like they do in vanilla. They're much rarer, and caves will rarely have exposed ores. Ores are scattered by default and will require extensive strip mining to find. However, localized deposits exist in specific areas where ore spawns in veins, which are interspersed with blackstone or basalt as examples. Coal sheets generate in a similar way, but instead of a winding vein, they spawn in large, flat sheets and can be followed much easier than typical veins. Enchantments no longer work like they do in vanilla. There's no enchantment table. Instead, enchantments take a diamond anvil. Enchanting requires one piece of material of what you're enchanting. If it's bronze, it requires bronze. If it's iron, it requires iron. If it's steel, it requires steel. If it's diamond, it requires diamond. Let's talk about fishing. Fishing now takes stamina, but more importantly, also requires bait. Bait is made from any raw meat, and if you fish without bait, you'll only get junk items. The list of junk items you can fish has been changed to not include enchanted books. Animal breeding. Animals will require more crops to enter love mode. For example, sheep and cow now require 4 wheat each instead of 1, while all others require 8. Sheep and cows now require 4 wheat instead of 1, and all others require 8 per animal. In order to make animals enter love mode, you will need at least the required quantity of the crop. For the rest of the animals, they require 16 of their required crops. Let's talk about map generation. This event will have an entirely custom-made map. It's going to be 5,000 by 5,000 blocks, and all other dimensions are disabled. You're going to find specific ore veins in small, clustered throughout the world, sprawling, and in various Y levels. These are 3D, and they'll have blocks and ores of all the items you're looking for. Some of the hint blocks include calcite for coal sheets, and the vein block will be blackstone, andesite for iron veins, granite for a copper vein, diorite for a diamond node, mesa for a gold vein, and blackstone for a gold vein. Quartz is found universally. That means it will spawn on the entire world. Is it at the same Y level? What Y level is it? Who knows? That's for you to find out. Progression. Tools are the same crafting recipe. However, there are new materials: bronze, iron, steel, and diamond. There are also 3 tiers of anvil: copper, iron, and diamond anvils. Diamond tools are now the strongest equipment you'll ever be able to get, and require only 1 diamond to make. Armor trims are also very cheap to craft, and you can use dyes instead of ores to apply to armor. Crop growth is 3 times slower than vanilla due to a reduced random tick speed. Additionally, crops aside from mushrooms and glowberry cannot grow if skylight is blocked. Crops are also region locked and can only be grown in the correct biomes. Water buckets now require stamina to pick up, drop, fill, and empty. A full bucket will also reduce your speed and make it use stamina to jump. Buckets cannot pick up or place lava, powder snow, and milk buckets are unchanged. The maximum stack size is limited to 16 for food and 3 for fireworks. Fishing will now return only junk items unless using bait. Mobs have the same AI as vanilla, but deal increased melee damage. Mobs also do not drop any items when killed. When spawning, you will spawn in a group, randomly spread around the map, in groups of 10 to 20 players. Grace period. There will be a 30-minute grace period at the beginning of the event where players cannot harm each other. Log in invulnerability. Upon logging in, you are granted 10 seconds of entity damage invulnerability. This will provide players a chance to react upon being approached or attacking player as they log in at an inopportune moment. Combat logging is strictly against the rules and will be dealt with on a case-by-case basis. Combat logging is defined as logging out to avoid death in any scenario. This includes common cases such as reactively logging out upon seeing a player who has the intent to kill you, logging out while actively engaged in combat, logging out and back in to abuse login invulnerability, and logging out to avoid mobs. If you believe a player is combat logged against you, open a ticket in Discord. Please make sure you are recording at all times so these cases can be reviewed quickly and action can be taken swiftly. To resurrect a player, you'll have to use the /resurrect space player and then the player's exact Minecraft username. That's /RESURRECT space PLAYER space Minecraft username.